take your time transitioning. You're going to wind up standing at the front of our mats. And now we're going to go over the restorative in somewhat of an order that you see it here. And one of the things I really like to do in the swing is to lounge. And I call it lounging when we're doing things that other people find really intense, because I think it's really important to change our relationship to the hips, to change our relationship to the tightness that's in the body. So let's see if we can lounge out and make some of these more intense poses really enjoyable so people will stay in them. Because 5 or 10 minutes in a hip stretch is what's going to open it. If you're just like popping in and out of it in 30 seconds, it's never going to open. We have to lounge out in them, okay? So let's see what that looks like. Let's go ahead and come through a sumo. If you brought your swing up, you might need, if you brought your swing down, you might not need to bring it up again, but let's just try it out. Standing in the center of the mat, forearm press, holding on, leaning back, sliding in front of the mat, walk it out to 10 and 2. Yeah, thanks. All right, drop the hips, open the heart. Press your arms towards me, lift the chest. Good, just take a moment to sway it out from side to side. So one of the things that we can do in the lounging poses is just simply rock from side to side, right? So we can actually walk it a little wider to 9 and 3. So we're kind of doing our lounging and our lunges at the same time. So I might not know how to spell lunges, and that's how lounging happened, but I know, because I do think this is lounging, and it happens to be a lunge, right? Just lounging out. Can you drop your hips even more? Yeah, and so when you're going to get low, get real low, you can even just roll your toes back and see what that's like, right? One of the things that we do when we invite more of a restorative practice is just go real slow. Maybe pulse at the edges, right? Can you really let it go, let the hips go? So this is the international sign for drop your hips. There you go. It works most of the time. It's very nice. So what happens when we do a little belly dancing move here at the edges too? Try that. And so just keep the knee and the ankle in alignment, Selena, so just stretch it out a little bit more. Yeah, like that. That's it. Perfect. Rock the hips, roll them around. And back and around the other side. Try something new. Something you haven't done before, something you haven't felt before. It'll feel good. Like, I don't normally flex my toes back, for example. That was new. Thanks, Selena. I was like, oh, that feels good. Rolling it around. Lots of playtime, lots of exploration. Oh, there is a new pose that I'd like to show you. You might not have seen it yet. We're digressing from the lounging. I got a wave of inspiration. Okay, we're walking our feet to the front of the mat, and we're wiggling our toes from side to side, feet flexed. Drop the hips. I'm going to plant my left foot down at 12 o'clock. We use this as a clock. Just joking, you know it. Okay, the right foot shoots underneath towards 9 and 3. Yes, and now I'm coming into another version of a side stretch. And I'm going to walk my toes over to 1 o'clock and see what that feels like. Oh yeah, keeping the foot flexed in alignment with 9 and 3, and then I can practice, again, somehow lounging, twisting, pulsing forward and back, or you can even hold on and kind of give yourself a little lift and lower, where you're revisiting that tightness. Isn't that quite a stretch?
That's great.
And then come out of it, we're going to drop the right knee down towards the center of the mat. Walk the toes out to 9 and 3. And then I like to use the swing to press towards the windows and kind of pulse with the breath. So chest comes towards me, and then chest twists towards the windows, and that adds a little extra engagement with the twist. Yeah, twist. Good. twist. And then to unfurl, I'm just gonna lean back toward my hips towards 6, and then bring myself back over to 12 somehow. Unwind it. Let's just take a moment to come into our weeping willow with chillaxing arms to reset that. Just to feel what happened there. What happened? And then we have 2 sides, so plant the left foot down. Nope, plant the right foot down. other side. We have 3 sides, and then shoot the left foot underneath to 9 and 3, and then walk the toes over towards 11. So my hips are dropping towards the center of the mat. You can hold on, which helps lift and lower. Revisit that, really relaxing the hips into it. I can also use my forearm press and just add a little bit more of a twist. Or press forward and back. I call it wiggling. There's so many different ways to wiggle in these poses. That changes everything, right? I find that this line, the side body line, hardly ever gets opened like this. You know, there's some poses we can do on the floor in yoga, but not with this big arch and lift at the same time. There's usually a collapse there. So what is it like to lift and drop at the same time? That's a different thing altogether. And then we can just, to come out of it, let the left knee find the center of the mat, and then heel toe over to 9 and 3. And we're gonna add a twist. All right, so lounging. How can we make this more loungy? Maybe pressing forward, stretch it out. Twist and hold just for a breath. Beautiful. Nice. Okay, returning to 12. I like to lean my hips back towards 6 and then unfurl, supported back bend. A little bit more of a swag. Even here, just see what it feels good to freestyle a little bit. What's the body looking for? So we can lounge out in any of these poses just by being easy about it and playful and explorative. But the real lounging is supposed to be hammock, so let's move towards hammock as we're playing. So lots of different lunges we can do, so we'll revisit the lunges in the lounging fashion, but let's just go right into hammock. So I'm going to grab for the right leg loop with both hands and stretch it out. So I'm going to hook the heel and stretch it out to the back of the knee. Make sure you hook the heel, otherwise it'll slide off. So it's nice to have that stabilizer. So we'll lounge on both sides, and we're going to do an extended hammock pose, which means we're going to do some variations here we don't normally do, which is kind of fun. So this looks just like what? What pose is this?
Half a floating Buddha?
Half a Buddha. Yeah, it's half Buddha. Right, so we can do the whole half Buddha sequence with an extended leg loop too. And I like to just rock in the space. Get lounging in something like half Buddha that can be a little intense. What happens when we drop our knee down? Yep. So this is like a side lunge, but a little bit different, because if we press to this side, that's totally different than pressing to that side. So you can really feel how you can access a different part of the hip. Yep. And then we're going to get both legs up there. Cross the ankles. And then we have the extra leg loop. Let's first put it behind the head, and then both arms through center, and transition it to the upper back. At this point, it's really nice to spread the swing out if you're able to maneuver it. You have to kind of grab one edge and stretch it out. Maybe it's twisted or doubled up, maybe it's not, but see if you can get yourself in there. A little bit. Sometimes I can get it under my bum, otherwise you just lengthen it across your back. There's a little magic involved with maneuvering the swing. It cooperates and
That's all you had to say.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is play with fishtail from side to side. So I like chillaxing arms for this version and just create a rhythm wave through your body. Whatever that looks like or feels like. Sometimes reaching up and holding on to the top of the leg loop also feels really good. Remember, we're doing slow jazz, real easy. And then see if you can come into an even bigger expression of your supported back bend. Maybe clasp the hands underneath you, pull them away. That could be really nice. Find your favorite expression. Sometimes Baddha Konasana feels good, where you bring the bottoms of the feet together or across the ankles for cross-legged position. And then just do some freestyling. Sometimes it's fun to come into the half Buddha sequence where you add a twist or maybe a side tree. Just one more minute of exploration, or even hook. Beautiful. So now we're going to go to the neck. Well, some of us are there. Just be careful with the neck when you're doing variations. Whenever you're ready, take your time. The leg loop that's been behind the back is going to transition to around the neck, covering the full length of the ears. And then in this position, I want you to practice stillness unless you feel like pulsing the hips up and down. But keep your gaze forward, your chin tucked into your chest. Don't do a lot of side to side with your neck while it's contractioning, just to keep the cervical spine happy. Okay? Most likely it'll be okay, but just in case, keep the spine really happy. Notice how different it is when you drop the hips versus pushing the hips out. All right, well, slowly removing the leg loop, second side. Luckily we have two legs, so we get to do that again. So expanding the left leg loop, we go through our floating Buddha. Taking a breath here. And then removing the right leg loop. Now ready, changing sides. And then extra leg loop goes behind the back. Underneath the head. Arms through like you're putting on a t-shirt. And then around higher on the upper back, kind of like around the scapulas. Doubled up. And then variations. Sometimes spreading the swing out feels good. See if you can do something different on this side than what you did last time. Or try some similar poses. See if it feels different on this side. There's so many variations and alterations that can be made. And get to know the swing and your body simultaneously. What feels good. What feels comfortable and safe, and what feels really edgy. Just notice. The swing is just a vehicle for us to really explore and experience ourselves in a new way. And then, before making our way, find your fullest expression of the back bend. Clasping the hands behind the back. You want to try that. And pulling your thumbs away from the sacrum. Nice big breaths. Eyes that curl, pull yourself up. And transition the swing, transition the leg loop to the neck. Nice and easy, dropping the hips, spreading the leg loop out so it covers the full length of the ears, which gives a little bit more support for the cervical spine. And then once you feel like you're in a good place, you can undulate the hips up and down. Arms can be hanging or holding on. Give your neck a full 60 seconds to release. It's like the perfect loungy music.
It is.
Is this not in a smooth jazz? Let it feel really yummy to drop in. Let the swing hold you and support you in these different ways. Feeling the contact on your skin, different places where there's pressure. To do my leg variations, so I'm doing them now. Even though I'm being very careful with my neck. I find holding on to the top of the leg loop or holding on to the leg loop in some way helps to stabilize the neck, so as long as that feels good. Let's go ahead and bring the right knee down. Whew. Wow. Does anybody else's neck feel different? It's like, that was intense. And then we did this one last time where we were kind of pressing over to the right, not just to the left. See how different that feels, right? The knee down. All right, we're going to close up our lounging unless somebody else has some inspiration here. Anyone? Oh, that was good. This is a nice long lounging sequence. We're going to move into chillaxing next, but come through sumo, hang out here, or go through a supported back bend and play a little bit with side to side. You can always give your upper body a little breather. Fluff it out. It needs some fluffing. So yeah,